Hello and welcome to Drakon video series. Today we are going to design a ring. So let's start with the signet ring tool under the rings tab. And in this case, we will need to define a signet ring. Of course, we start with the ring size. In this case, I'm using the 14 from the European ring size chart. And you will see that you have all the options to define the diameter or any other ring size. But the most important thing here is that I want a flat cap, and I also want to use the table width with let's use with the 15 millimeters, and the same for the table length. Also, I will want to adjust the table height. Let's set it to 2.5 millimeters, and finally I can also define the bottom part. Let's define the side width to 4.5 millimeters, and the same for the bottom width with 4.5 millimeters. Since we have the shape of the signet ring defined now, as you can see, it's a solid ring. What I'm going to do is to use under the related tab, I'm going to use the hollow ring tool to hollow out this ring. And as you can see, it's automatically selected the ring, but we can of course adjust maybe the thickness. By default is 1 millimeter wall thickness, and we are using, let's maybe try 0.9, and you can see now it's hollowed. We could adjust also the angle or even use the under gallery. For this case, I'm just going to keep it like this, and I'm going to move on to the next step. Since I have the shape of the ring defined, the next step I will do here a reference object. I'm going to the solids tab, and I'm going to use the sphere. And actually in here, I'm going to the front view, and I'm going to set the sphere to, let's make it just more or less the same size of the ring, a little bit smaller. And I'm going to use here this sphere just to place some gems. But as I don't want to use the entire object, what I'm going to do is to use here a cutter. So the planar cutter should be good. I just need, of course, to select the object, and we have a cutter, and also we can define the position. Let's use, maybe you can see that we are adjusting the cutter position. Let's use something like this to be aligned with the table of the signet ring. And this cutter will be used to cut my sphere. As you can see, it's a planar surface, but we can use the gumball, in this case this dot on the gumball arrow, so I can use it to extrude. So I'm just going to extrude enough to cut my sphere. And as you can see, now I have a cutting object. I will use the Boolean difference to remove from my sphere. I'm going to remove the this cutter. So I press enter, and now we have just part of the sphere, and this will be used to place some gem just as a reference. Actually, then we won't use this in the model. So I'm going to use the automatic pavé to place some gems in this object. So what we need to do is to select where we want to apply the gems, enter. Then we can adjust here the all the different options. So in this case, let's use 2.5 millimeter gems. I set both maximum and minimum gem sizes to 2.5, just to make sure all will be the same size. And since the default were using 1.5, I just refresh. And now, since we have 2.5, I will also adjust the distance between them. Let's use 0.5 millimeters. And I'm going to fill this with gems. So let's increase the gems number. Maybe in here I want to fill it, but not so close to each other, since I'm going to do a different kind of setting, not the regular prong setting. And let's fill it with in this case I'm using 25 gems, and I think it's enough. So I just move on to the next step. In the next step, as I was saying, this one was just a reference, so I just select this reference object, and I use the central mouse button to get this menu to hide it. So you will see that we have our gems, and I'm going to use a different kind of setting, not a regular prong setting. So let's use the close setting. So we of course need to select the gems, but first, since we are computing a close setting for each one of them, maybe I can define already some parameters to avoid be computing, since when we are applying any, I don't know, head setting, a close setting to many gems, it will take a little bit longer to compute since it's applying to all of them. So I just define it before selecting the gems. For instance, I want a three prong. I want also to define here the prong width and prong thickness to 0.7, 0.75 can be, as well as the prong profile to a round prong. And here the depth I will keep 5 millimeters, but also the bottom diameter, let's use 1 millimeter. So now when I select the gems, it will apply all these options. So let's see the result. As you can see, it's applied to all of them. Maybe I can remove the options to bend prongs. Let's use a straight prong on top. And now let's take a look to see the result. So this is looking as expected. Let me just maybe hide this signet ring just to see what we have here. So all of them are properly defined. In this bottom part, I will later define an object just to connect all these settings in a single part. So let me just take a look. If needed, we could also adjust the prong distribution, but I think it's good enough. We don't have prongs touching each other, so I think it's exactly as intended. So I'm going to move on to the next step, which is, as I was saying, to connect all these settings here. So let's create another solid. And once again, we are going to use the sphere. And I'm going to the front view again. Let's make it a sphere in here to connect all these settings back to the perspective. So you will see that this will be connected in this object, but actually let's bring back our ring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create once again a cutter to cut this sphere. So I just select the object, and I adjust the cutter position. Let's make it coplanar with this under surface on the ring. So something like this looks good. And now we will repeat this step. We will select this cutter surface. We will use this dot to extrude it. And now we will cut this with the Boolean difference. So we just need to select the first object is the sphere, and the second object, the object to remove, is the cutter. So now we have it at the same position as the ring. What we will probably be useful to do is to avoid being solid. Let me hide this ring. And what we can do is to hollow it, so we can use the shell, and we can just define here the bottom surface, the one we want to remove. We can set the thickness in the command line. I just use the default, and we hollow out this object. And now I can bring back my ring, and once again I can cut also the ring. So let's use for this the curve from the object. I can duplicate the edge, enter, and once again I can use this curve to create a cutting object. So we could use the extrude under the surface, but actually if we use the gumball, we just use the dot from the gumball, and if we press shift on the keyboard, it will extrude both sides, as you can see. So now you will see that we have the cutting object. This will be used to cut my signet ring. There is one thing that we have been using the Rhino booleans. Actually, in Rhino 8, you notice, probably I explained it in previous videos, that we can also use history on these booleans in Rhino 8, but also in Drakon booleans. Now I'm going to explain a small detail, which is if we are using, in this case, a Boolean difference, for instance, a Drakon object, which is the signet hollowed ring, as the reference object. And this already has history, so we don't have any problem. We can delete input and it will compute. But in this second object, since it is a Rhino object, if you delete input, you lose the possibility to edit further, which means that the Rhino object will disappear from the document. So you can't edit if you want to change it in further steps. So what we can do when we use Rhino objects is just to don't use the option to delete input, and it will be available to further addition. So we can just, for instance, change the object layer and hide the layer, and this is how it's properly managed. So in this case, it's the exercise for today, and let's now probably just here and create a render. So what we can do is let's just apply the yellow gold to all the metal materials, and to create a render we can use the ray trace display. And you will notice that it will adjust the materials to render. We can, of course, change here. Let's use the quartz rose for the gems, and also we could use the ground plane you will notice that the ground plane will affect the gems because when we apply a ground plane, it will also use gems map. Let's say it when we apply a ground plane, we are also applying here the diamond map as default. You can set it on Rhino render panel. So this can be, of course, edited and adjusted, but it will give a better look for the gems. So this is the idea. We have the ring defined. We can, of course, set other background. Let's use, for instance, a black background, and let's make it under the render settings, define both resolution X and Y, the number of passes. You can just click on render to get our render, as you can see. So it's rendering, and once done, we can just save our file. And this is the exercise for today. I really hope you enjoy it. Let me just enable here the ray traced display. And this is it for today. Leave your comments on the video, and we are happy to attend.